Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. You're right on time. The program just started. Thank you. So keep it coming, guys. Oh, I can see Olamigoke, the data analyst from Lagos, Nigeria. It's so nice to have you here, okay. Thank you. For those that are just joining in, so we are getting to know ourselves. So let's know your name, what you do, and where you're connecting from. Thank you. Also, keep it coming. For those connecting, we want to get to know you, your name, where you're connecting from, and what you do. Thank you.
All right, good day. I am again to call Danny Jones. I live in Port Harcourt currently, and I'm into real estate. But I want to get more
Oh,
insights on
okay.
data analysis.
Oh, I'm super
Yes.
excited to have you here. Thank you for connecting. So you can just use the chat box for those that are connecting, that are just joining in. Please use the chat box. Thank you so much, Amanda, for connecting. Emmanuel, I can see that you're connecting from Calabar, next of Kings. Amazing, amazing. Thank you. I can see Fortune Sundays connecting from Uyo. Wow, we have a lot of Southerners connecting here. I'm super excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining in. So, like for those that are just joining in, as a result, a business operations analyst, I reside in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'll be the moderator for these events. Thank you for joining in. So just keep it coming, keep it coming. Want to get to know you. So in the next 3 minutes, we'll go into the program proper. So just keep it coming. For those connecting, please use the chat box. We want to get to know you, your name, where you're connecting from, and what you do. Thank you. Okay, I still have Emmanuel Bassi connected from Calabar, and he said he's the next of king. That is so hilarious to me. Thank you, Emmanuel Bassi, for joining us. Thank you so much. Oh, Omoyemi, you're welcome. Thanks for joining in. So we're just starting. You're right on time. So want to get to know you, where you're connecting from, and what you do. Thank you. Oh, so we'll be going into the program proper. And without wasting much time, I would like to introduce our first speaker, who who crowns herself as a skilled data analyst with over 3 years of experience in automating, restructuring reports and dashboards using analytical tools as such as SQL queries, which is a structured query language, Microsoft Power BI, Excel Online, and Google Sheets to carry out her data analytics activities. She has badged a lot of global certificates as a data analyst, amongst which are Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate, the Akka Rank SQL Certificate, and the Apache Airflow Fundamentals. She is passionate about helping people gain masteries in data analytics. She believes experience plus tech skills is equals to relevance. I agree with that. She is currently prioritizing the needs to help skills from data analytics to cloud engineering. She is intentional about working on projects that requires the need to build data analytics pipeline using Apache Airflow, Python and NoSQL database. She's super excited to learn and collaborate with everyone who is interested in executing data projects. So with a round of applause, please help me welcome Iremide Olatunji. So everyone, please welcome Iremide Olatunji, as we've been having her take us on the usage of MySQL, Power BI, and Excel for data analytics. So please just thank you, thank you. I can see everyone. Thank you. Oh, Oladimeji, thank you. Onuchukwu, thank you so much. Thank you as we welcome Iremide Olatunji. So, ma'am, you have the floor.
Hi, everyone. Thank you
Hi,
so much, Darcy, for that beautiful moderation and
thank,
introduction. You are
thank
doing
you.
amazingly well. I'm so grateful
Thank
to know
you.
you and to connect with you. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. Hi, everyone. So let's get to the business of the day. Today, I'll be telling you about how to create an M365 developers account. But before I go into that details, I would like to tell you about the Data Analytics Airlights community. So this program was organized by the Data Analytics Airlights community, which I'm proud to lead. I have my group of mentors, facilitators, friends, colleagues on this call, and I am grateful for everyone that has supported the community one way or the other. So what is the community all about? We are a community of highly skilled data analysts who have gained the expertise and mastery in the technical and leadership skill needed to thrive in the data analytics ecosystem. We are focused on mentoring aspiring data professionals who want to gain mastery in the data analytics tool, technique, and technology. We have 4 training programs. The first is the Excel Academy for beginners in data analytics, followed by Power BI and SQL for intermediate data analysts. And we have the Python Academy for the breakdown for the advanced data analyst. If you like to have a breakdown of courses, you can reach out to me after this event. I will drop my contact in the chat box, and also I will drop a link to join the community if you are not a part of our community. But if you're a part of our community, I hope that we are doing very well. I hope that we've been serving you as a community, and then I'm grateful for every one of you. All right, so moving on, I'd like to talk about the M365 developers account, right? I know as data analysts, we hear this all the time that, oh, someone is saying that I have an M365 developers account license, and then we don't quite understand what it means. So my job is not to tell you the technicalities about it. I just want to break it down to you in layman term, and I want to show you how to create an M365 developers account. And by the end of my conversation with you, I will be assigning 10 license to people on this course. So I have 10 license that I'll be giving out. I'll be adding you to the Data Analytics Elite community M365 developers account license. So if you like to be a part of it, just continue, just like stay on the call and then listen to me and listen to Francis while we speak. All right, what is this developers account all about? So this is an account, right, that gives you access to utilize everything about Microsoft services. If you work for organization, you know that you have to pay for you to access Excel, right? You have to pay for your Power BI service. You have to pay for Microsoft Dynamics. The organization have to either pay, either they are paying for a pro license or a premium license. But then Microsoft have decided to give out free license to developers. So if you are a developer, you are into building software and applications or solutions, you can always use the M365 developers account to be able to access your Power Apps, Power BI, Excel Online, and have access to all the features needed for a developer to access. I know that, for example, some of us on that we build projects on our Power BI desktop, but then because we don't have, our organization don't even use Microsoft, and there's no way for us to even publish it to the service. So we are not used to it. We're not actually familiar with the way the Power BI service operates, and it's actually not our fault. It's because we are not exposed. So right now I'm coming to show you how to create this access in order for you to have your project published, and then when you're trying to share it to recruiters, you can share them the link to your Power BI service. From your CV, they can access your project on your service instead of you sending screenshots of pictures on GitHub or screenshots on your Google Drive, and then the recruiters are kind of confused on what exactly you are trying to explain, right? If you're able to share the link to your Power BI service directly on your CV, they can have access to the report and then understand, interact with your report, and then understand the solution that you have built as a project. All right. So I have actually exhausted my phone and my emails to build the account. So I'll be using that of one of my very good mentor on this call. Ayodeji, are you ready? Can you share your screen so that we can walk them through how to create an M365 developers account? Ayodeji, if you're available, please share your screen. All right. Thank you so much, Ayodeji. Okay, it went out. Okay, beautiful. So, Ayodeji, can you open a tab on your browser? So, can you type? I like this decoration. Can you type M365 developers account? Then click enter. All right, so let's click on the welcome to the Microsoft 365 developers program. I hope we are all following. Please let's pay attention. You don't have to try to be on the same pace as we are, right? Just listen. The link to this event to be shared on YouTube, where you can always rewatch. But then let's just do it together. Let's pay attention and let's listen. Ayodeji, can you scroll down? All right. Okay. No, scroll back up, and then click on the join the Microsoft 365 developers program. Yes, click on that. All right, so it's telling us to join now. So click on the join now. Please note, you need to have a Microsoft email, an Outlook mail, in order for you to be able to create this account. Remember, it is free, and also they give you, it's actually free for 90 days, but then Microsoft also like renewed the subscription for you. So after 90 days, it's been renewed, and it is based on your usage. So it depends on how you are using it. So that actually determines how they will renew it for you. If you're not using it and you leave it to be redundant, you might not actually get the renewal after 90 days. Ayodeji, can you put in your Outlook email or your Microsoft email? And let's click on next. All right. So when you put in your email, it opens this form for you. It says join the Microsoft 365 Developers Program. You have your first name, your last name, and your email address. And then they'll ask you a few questions which you have to answer. And the first one is your country. Ayodeji, can you put in your country or region? All right, having filled your country, Ayodeji, can you put in your company? Can you use the DAELITE community? Your company, DAELITE community. All right, so
Hello, you.
We cannot hear you anymore.
yes, I'm with
Are
you.
you
I'm with
Emide? Are
you.
you still
Can you hear me
connected?
now?
We can't hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
It's
All right.
about to rain
Yes,
at
yes,
my
it's
hand
better.
here. So the network. So can you put in your language? All right, so can you click on next? Okay, so it's asking you, what is your primary focus? It's asking you, what is your primary focus as a developer, right? Is it that you want the application to be sold in the market? You want to create custom solutions, or you want your application used internally by your company, or you want to use it for personal project? So I always encourage that we click on personal project. So click on personal project and click on next. All right, so moving on is asking you what area of Microsoft 365 development are you interested in? We will show you the resource, tools, and training to help you get started. You can click on end everything, or you can click on the few ones that you feel they are important to you. As a developer, the Power Platform is very important. So Ayodeji, you can select all and click on save.
Yeah, please go on.
Okay, amazing. I hope you can still hear me.
Yeah, please go on.
Yes, yes, yes. Continue.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, you were.
Yes,
Can
we
someone
can.
confirm I'm audible? All right. So can you click on close? Can you close the pop-up on your screen, Ayodeji? So it's telling you, welcome Ayodeji to the 365. Now click on set up E5 subscription. Click on the icon, the set up E5 subscription. Oh, okay. So Microsoft are actually having some technical issues since 31st of May up to now. I was hoping that this will be sorted. I was hoping that this will be sorted, but then, okay, that's fine. Ayodeji, I'll share my screen from here. I've had my account for quite a while, right? But then I got a notification, when I was trying it at midnight, that if you tried your developer's account from the last week of May up to yesterday, that they were having some technical issues. Right. So let me show you my own this thing. The Microsoft 365 developers account. So when I was saying that you should create your sandbox, this is where it brings you to, right? It brings you here, and then you'll be able to now create like a domain name, a username, right? You'll be able to create a domain name, a username for your 365 developers account. And once you create the domain name and the username, it opens up your 365 developers account for you like this. Right, and the way to test that you actually have this 365 developers account activated is to go to the Office, the Microsoft Office app. So just do I hope I'm still audible. It's raining heavily at my hand here. Am I still audible?
Yes, I can hear you, Irimide.
Okay. So let me go to the Office. Let me click on the Microsoft Office. All right, so now I want to check if I really have a developer's account. So from where I stopped with ILDG, the only prompt that it will give to you is number one, to put in your username and a domain name. The domain name is a name that you have to always remember, right? And then I'm saying that once you do that, it opens up your 365 developers account for you like this. And the way to test that indeed you've opened the 365 developers account, you come to your Microsoft Office, then you click on admin. Once I click on admin here, then I go to this icon here that has my name. This is data analytics. Once I click on this one, I'll see view accounts. So it is loading my accounts for me. So you can always ask later or set up a two-factor this thing. Okay, so we can see from here. You can see from here that I have the 365 developer account activated, right? So this is a way to test it. And another way to test it is by opening your Power BI service. Power BI service. Once you go to Power BI service on your browser and you click on the Power BI sign in to the Power BI service, it asks you for your login. Once you put in your login details, your email based on your domain name. Let me ask later. It opens up the Microsoft Fabrics for you automatically. So that is the way to test that indeed the 365 developers account that you created is actually activated. Right, so I can open my Power BI service with the data analytics Elite community email. Right, because this is the email I use to create my developers account. Right, so I said that I know I have very few minutes left, so I said that I was going to assign 10 login. I was going to assign 10 login to 10 people on this call. So since Microsoft is currently having an issue with the M365 developers account, if you really want to practice Microsoft Fabrics, the data engineering endpoint of Microsoft Fabrics, the data science, you want to explore Power BI, please in the comment section, I'm only going to take 10 people, put in your first name, last name, and your email address, and I'll create the account now. I'll add you to our user here, and then you can start using the 365 developers account. So I'm looking at the comment section, put in your first name, last name, and your email address. And I'll add you. So I'm checking the chat box very briefly. The first person I have is Ajibade. Please. So I will only assign the first two for now. Then we'll proceed with the call. But the rest of you are going to get an email that I've assigned you access to the M365 developers account, and then you can explore everything that Microsoft has to offer for you as a developer. So I'm starting with Ajibade Ola. Right, so this is the way your name will display. Then I will assign you Ajibade. Right, Ajibade are data analytics Elite. Automatically create. No, I want to create a password for you myself, which you can change. So you change the password the moment you log into your Office application. Oh yeah. So I'm assigning you the Microsoft 365 developers account. All right, Ajibade, please check your email. You will get an email now that you've been assigned. This is how the email would show up. Let me show you mine, the one I created while testing. I want to show you, this is how the email will pop up. So this is how the email will pop up, Ajibade. So you can check your mail and see if you have this. You'll find in your password, the one I assigned to you. In order for you to change it, you'll sign into Microsoft Office with this password, and then you'll be requested to change the password. With that, you can now open your Power BI service and enjoy all the access that the Microsoft 365 developers account has to offer you. For Cynthia, I will also assign yours immediately. But then we need to move on with this event. Tessie, is my time up, Tessie?
Yes, but then we have like extra time for the questions and answer. Please let me know if you can hear me.
All right, please, you can ask me questions now.
All right, thank you so much, Iremi Day, for enlightening us and exposing us to creating an account to the M365 developers platform. So I've been working with Microsoft Office for a while, and I never knew that something like this even exists. So this is an addition to my skill set. So thank you very much. And I believe this is also insightful to everyone who has been connected so far. So if you have questions, kindly let us know by raising your hands, or you just unmute yourself, but we have to do it in an orderly manner, or you drop your questions on the chat box, whichever works for you. So please, you can just signify by raising your hands, and then we'll unmute you. Okay, yeah, so I can see Olukayode Ayodele. Okay, so yeah, so
Can I,
yes, Olukayode, please go on.
good evening, everyone, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity. All right. From what I've gathered so far, I think Remedy mentioned something about having a Microsoft email or something. Is that different from the normal Gmail or the Yahoo Mail for you to be able to access this 365 developers program? That's my question.
Okay, so for you to first get started, you need to have a Microsoft email, right? For you to even sign up at all, you need to have a Microsoft email. But then to access to now like further build is like, so the thing is you are actually under the Microsoft tenant. If you look at my email address, let me share my screen again so I can explain something to you. Okay, is my screen up? So if you look at this, you see, even though I am from Data Analytics LI, the DAELI, which is my domain name, I am still under the Microsoft tenant. So the new email I'll be using for my Power BI service is not my normal email address. Not my normal Microsoft email address. I can use that one to get emails, but to access the developers platform, I need to be on the Microsoft tenant. Like I said earlier, the Microsoft Premium and Pro license are always purchased by organizations too. They are not free. But Microsoft is giving out free license to all their developers. So you need to be on the Microsoft umbrella, like under the Microsoft company. And that's why you have this on Microsoft.com. So I have my username here, which is MHIZ at my domain name. This is my domain. Your domain name has to be something that is relatable. You can use my data. You can use anything. You understand? So I'm using the Data Analytics Airline as my domain. Then I'm now proceeding to now say on Microsoft.com. So I'm saying that I'm still under the Microsoft umbrella. This is different from your normal email address. Have I answered the question?
Not really, but so if I get you right now, if I want to open this account now, how do I go about it? Do I go to Microsoft? Do I go to, I'm not really.
Okay. I think you joined a bit late, but then let me go over it very briefly. So I said that to get started, you open your browser and you type 365 developers, M365 developers account. When you type this, right, it tells you welcome to the Microsoft 365 developers program. When you go here, you click on join the 365 developers program page.
Right.
Once you click on this link, you see join now. When you click on join now, it will ask you for your Microsoft. I already have the developers account already. So, but the thing it will ask you for your Microsoft email, your personal Microsoft email.
All right. Okay.
So that is where you put in your personal Microsoft email. Then you now create another like email. Do you understand that to be on the Microsoft domain to access the developers application.
Okay. Now I get. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Any other question?
So
Ajibade, please, can you confirm?
Yeah.
Ajibade, can you confirm that you actually got an email? All right, beautiful. Thank you very much. Tessie, please, you can proceed.
Yeah, so I can see on the chat box that Joanne is asking that what is it really meant for? So I don't know if she joined a bit late or she just wants clarity to really understand what is M365 developers account really meant for. So yeah.
All right. Like I said initially, if you want to access Excel, right, they are always paid. If you notice when you download Excel on your laptop, after a while, they will ask you for product key, true or false. Even if it's Microsoft Word, they will ask you for product key. And this product key are not paid. So Microsoft is telling you that you've had access to Excel, Word, our Microsoft Office for 60 days. Now it's time for you to pay for the service, right? And to pay for the service is not, it actually costs a lot of money. So you have to buy either a pro license or a premium license. And if you are not an organization, you see, buying a pro license or a premium license can be very costly. And that is why Microsoft have decided to have a program that creates a platform whereby you can access all of these applications for free. So you can have access to Excel, Power BI service, Power Platform, Microsoft Word, SharePoint, Teams, all for free without paying anything. But then you need to subscribe to the developers program. Did I answer your question? Joanne, did
Okay,
I
yes,
answer your
yes,
question?
yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
So do we have any
Tessie,
more questions? His hands. Although I could not capture the name at that time, so I don't know if you still have a question for the person that raised his or her hands. Okay, yes. Joanne, you're raising your hand. Do you have any other question?
Okay, please just ignore the noise at the background. I wanted
Oh, okay.
to be clear on this. She mentioned all these things that we are going to actually be able to have access on the platform. I don't know. Later on, will she tell us what those things are? I don't know. Like the she mentioned buy power or something, share points and all that. I don't know. You don't know what all that is like me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if she's going to tell us what it is later or is it going to be today.
okay. All right, Joanne. If you don't know what Power BI is, you know what Excel is, true of course.
Yes,
Have you used Excel online before?
online. The only one I know of is the Google sheet. I don't know. Is that the one you are
All
referring
right.
to?
So let me show you that Microsoft also has Excel online. And the reason why you don't know about it is because it's not free. It's actually going supposed to be paid and it's mostly used by organizations. But if you are under the 365 developers account program, you can have access to Excel online for the same way your Google Sheet works, whereby somebody can edit. You understand? Like you can have people, you can collaborate with other people. And then once somebody makes, you can make somebody an editor, you can make another person a viewer. You can also do that with Excel. Are you aware of that, Joanne?
No, I'm not aware. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so let me show you very brief. So if you can see my screen, this is what we call Excel online. There, this particular Excel is not on my, it's not on my desktop, actually online. You understand? Please copy the link. What's happening? So this is it online. If I click on application, I can see Microsoft Teams online. I didn't download this one on my desktop. Yeah, on my browser. I can have access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneDrive, OneNote. You see all of this application, Microsoft Form, OneNote, Power Automate, Power Apps, Microsoft Planner, Power BI, Stream. I have access to all of these applications. Do you understand? And I can interact with them on my browser without having to like download Microsoft like Excel as a desktop. I don't know why. I think the issue Microsoft is having is also affecting the it's interactive the 365 developers, because you can also like be able to click on these and then create solutions on your browser. So do you understand now?
Okay, I understand.
So the
So
same way Google Sheet
is it
works, I'm
that
saying the same way Google Sheet,
okay?
the same way Microsoft. You understand? Now Excel is now online, the same way Google Sheet.
Okay.
So any other question, Joanne?
Okay. But is it what companies use now? I don't know if there are companies that use this.
See what?
I said I don't know. The companies use this now. Is it what is trending now?
So use what is trending.
Is it how do I explain? Is it that
Okay, is it
there
what
are
is
companies
trending?
that make use
Yes,
of
it is what is trending.
yes,
Yes, what is trending. So the thing is, if I have an Excel, if I have a project in Excel on my desktop, right, I can also upload it to my OneDrive and also access it online, and then add my manager or my subordinate as a collaborator. So whatever they edit on the browser affects the one on my desktop. So like it works in a sync. If I edit anything on my desktop, it reflects on the browser. If I edit anything on my browser, it also like has the same effect on my desktop. So it's part of the new innovations from Microsoft.
but if I want to access it from my desktop, it's going to be on OneDrive, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Please, Tessie.
All right, thank you so much, Iremide, for that insightful session. I'm really excited. This is also new to me, and of course, like I said earlier, I've added it to my skill sets. And without wasting much time, I would like us to introduce our second speaker. So again, before I go for that, please just a round of applause for Iremide for putting us through this session, and exposing us to accessing M365 developers account and how to go about it. So just appreciate her with the applaud sign. Thank you. So yeah, while we're on that, I would like to introduce our second speaker, who prides himself as a highly skilled Microsoft Power BI analyst with a passion for data visualization and business intelligence. With over 3 years of experience in this data analytics field, he has become an expert in harnessing the power of Power BI to transform complex data into meaningful insights and actionable recommendation. So his journey from data analytics began during his undergraduate studies in pharmacy, where he developed a strong foundation in data manipulation and analysis techniques for his final year thesis. He furthered on the skills through various professional certificates in Power BI and related tools, allowing him to stay at the forefront of the ever-evolving analytics landscape. He has worked in maritime and banking industries as a data professional. He is also passionate about making significant impact in the field of business intelligence, helping organizations unlock the full potential of data assets. So with an applaud emoji again, I would like us to welcome Mr. Francis Folarami. Please welcome. I don't know if I got that right. Mr. Francis Folarami, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Tessie, for that warm
Yeah. Thank you
welcome.
for
Yeah, you got my
connecting and
name right.
thank you for being here. Oh, amazing. Thank you.
Good
So
evening,
please,
everyone.
you have the floor.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Tessie already introduced, my name is Francis Filaro, and I'll just be going straight into what we have to do today, which is talking about Microsoft Fabric. So permit me to quickly share my screen. So you can please confirm when you can see my screen. Confirm if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, I can see your screen, Francis.
All right. So our topic here is a Microsoft Fabric and everything you need to know about Microsoft Fabric. So this is the content I'm working out through. Then we have the introduction architecture down to the summary. Yeah, is it Microsoft Fabric or Microsoft Fabrics? If your answer is Fabrics, then you should get a tailor, so that you can be an apprentice. It's actually Microsoft Fabric. A lot of people tend to say Fabrics, or it's actually Microsoft Fabric. Unless you are intending to become a fashion designer, I think you should know at this point that it is Microsoft Fabric. So if what you want to be is an analytics expert, then it is Fabric. Now, a brief introduction. Microsoft Fabric is an end-to-end analytics platform that provides a single integrated environment for data professionals and the business to collaborate on data projects. Fabric provides a set of integrated services that enable you to ingest, store, process, analyze data in a single environment. Typically, when you have a project, a data project in this case, there are several stakeholders, there are several key players. For a data project, you need a data engineer, you need a data analyst, and then you need a data scientist. And then there are some other data roles that are actually evolving as we go by, but then we focus mainly on a data engineer, a data analyst, and then a data scientist. All of these data roles, they have different tools that they work with, distributed on different services or even different tenants. For example, a data analyst typical tool will include SQL, Power BI, and then Excel. But a data scientist will work more with Python. While a data engineer will work with Apache Spark, we work with integration tools. Now, what Microsoft has done with Microsoft Fabric is to actually bring all this workload into a unified environment, into a single environment. We want to avoid a situation whereby your data is sitting on AWS and then you are doing analytics on Microsoft platform, and then your other data too are sitting on maybe on a service, let's say on Salesforce. So we want to have a situation where all of your analytic workload is actually done on a singular platform. That is what Microsoft Fabric is all about. So a data engineer, a data scientist, a data analyst, they all can work on a Microsoft Fabric. Now, let me break it down in a way that will make it make sense. We all know Google Word. On Google Word, if you are shared the link with us right now, we can actually all start typing on that Google Word document, and then all of us can see it. So that is what Microsoft Fabric can do for data professionals, your data engineer, your data scientist, and a data analyst. Is Microsoft Fabric exactly new? Of course, no. It is not a new product. It is new and it's not a new product. When I say it is not new, what I mean is this. There are already existing solutions for data projects and analytics projects in place by Microsoft, which include Power BI, Azure Synapse Analytics. But then Microsoft now, in their own ingenuity, think of a way to bring all of these services onto a single platform. So Microsoft Fabric is actually a combination of Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft Azure Synapse Analytics, and Microsoft Purview. Microsoft Power BI is a data analyst tool, a data visualization tool, data modeling, and all the things that Power BI can do, Power BI person. And then Azure Synapse Analytics. Azure is a cloud platform by Microsoft, and it is used for processing huge data. And then we have Azure Synapse Analytics. There are over 200 services on Synapse Analytics, and we even have data engineer for Azure. And then also we have Microsoft Purview. Microsoft Purview is a data governance platform. So all of these services put together, it is what Microsoft represented to us as Microsoft Fabric. So now this is the architecture of Fabric. We have several workloads and experiences on Microsoft Fabric, starting from the One Lake. The idea of Microsoft Fabric is for data professionals to collaborate on a data project. And if we are collaborating on data project, that means we are all collecting to a singular source of data. Like Office 365, we have OneDrive. There's also One Lake in Microsoft Fabric. What OneDrive does is that every file that you save, every material, every asset that you save is actually stored on your OneDrive. The same thing applies to Microsoft Fabric, where we have One Lake. One Lake is that storage platform. Now, before Fabric, what we have is Synapse Analytics. On Synapse Analytics, there are several storage. You have your Azure Lake Gen 2 storage. You have your containers. All of those things, you have to deploy them before you can actually provision a data storage. But what Microsoft has done for us now is to actually make it in a way that is very easy. You don't have to know a deep knowledge of Azure Synapse Analytics or a storage, or even have a fair knowledge of a cloud engineer before you can actually work with Microsoft Fabric. So on Microsoft Fabric, you have about 7 experiences. You have your data factory, you have your Synapse engineering through to Synapse real-time analytics, then Power BI and data activator. Now, every icon here that you have in blue, they are all previously called Synapse Analytics. And then there is Data Factory, which is another Azure service for processing huge data. And then there is Power BI, the data visualization tool. And then the only thing that is actually new here is Data Activator. Up to now, Data Activator is still on private preview. When Microsoft is launching a particular product, there are 3 stages. They always have a private preview, where their in-house employees, developers, engineers test out the product and experience it. That is what has happened before they now release Microsoft Fabric into public domain. When they release it into public domain, that is public preview. And after preview, they've taken some feedback, then it is now being adopted. So a lot of services that you have on Microsoft Fabric, they are actually on preview. And that means anything on preview means that it can stay or it can be taken down. So it is not advisable for anybody to do a production project, a live project on Microsoft Fabric, at least for now. Because what everybody have now is just a 60-day trial. So they are still upgrading, there are still technical issues around Microsoft Fabric. But it's not entirely new. I just Synapse Analytics, Power BI, Data Factory. Everything in the package is Fabric. Now, what is Data Factory? Data Factory up to Synapse Real-Time Analytics are core data engineering tools. Data Factory is for spooling your data, for extracting your data, for orchestrating your data to a particular storage. Then you also have Synapse Data Engineering. They work hand in hand, and we also have your Synapse Data Science, where you can actually deploy your Apache for processing large data. Is an open data source, and then you have your data warehousing that is actually central on relational database management system, and then you have real-time analytics, and then Power BI. So this is the architecture of entire Microsoft Fabric. Then what are the misconceptions around Microsoft Fabric? Now, it is not actually a desktop application like Power BI. It is actually a SaaS. SaaS means service, software as a service. So what that means is that you don't necessarily have to install a desktop application on your local machine, on your PC. You can just access it on the cloud. So it is a service that is accessible on the cloud. And then another thing people say that, oh, with Fabric now, you're not a data engineer, you're a data analyst, you're a data scientist. Of course, that is not it. It is just a unified platform, like I said earlier, where data engineer, data analyst, and data scientist can actually collaborate. However, you can actually rub off on each other because you are working in a team of data professionals, so you have an engineer, you have a data scientist, and then you can actually have some fair share of the entire process. Then it is also for collaboration. Yes, it is for collaboration. A data engineer, the process starts from data engineer who is going to get the data for us in a form that is usable, in a form that is analyzable to the business stakeholder. And then the data analyst do his thing of finding patterns and trends and extracting meaningful insights before the data scientist will now take the project to another level where you can do advanced analytics or maybe making some machine learning predictions and all of those things, as the case may be for a particular data project. So a data engineer, a data analyst, and a data scientist. So a data engineer will give us a clean and transformed data that data analysts and data scientists can work on. Then how do you access Microsoft Fabric? Like I said, it's not a desktop application. It is actually a software as a service. So traditionally, before Microsoft released the Fabric, I realized that most people that are learning Power BI ignore the core of Power BI service, which is the cloud platform for Power BI. When you finish your project on Power BI, you have to publish to Power BI service. That is where you can collaborate and then make other people in your organization and the stakeholders to see what you have been working on. So I've been making threads about Fabric. Then a week after, Fabric was making threads about Power BI service. Then a week after, Fabric was announced. So typically, when you want to access your Power BI service, all you have to do is to go to app.powerbi.com. So I'll click on this link right now. Are you following, please?
Right
Yes.
on, right on, right on.
Oh, yes.
All right, thank you. So I typically, when you finish any project in Power BI service, let me show you some few examples of projects that I have worked with. Then the beauty of whatever project they have done is for other people to see it, to consume the insight that you have brought out from your data sets, and then make an informed decision better than what they used to. So this is one project I worked on recently. It's actually a fictional company where they have been accused of gender inequality, but on deeper check into the data set that is available, we realize that it is not necessarily true. So now I have worked on this, beautiful, but then it does not make sense if I'm the only one that is having access to this. All I have to do is to grant access to this. How do I grant access to this? Is when I publish it to Power BI service. These are already published work. So now, like I was saying before on my slide, to get to Power BI service, all you have to do is to visit this app.powerbi.com. So I'm clicking this now, and that will open up Power BI for us. Now that is Fabric, you now have a Fabric logo trying to load up. Then you have this. You have this. This is the home page for your Power BI service. Now, like I said, it's the package product for us. So it is a combination of Power BI service and other services like Azure Synapse Analytics. Or you could access Fabric using app.fabric.microsoft.com. So I'll just click on this now. Then you have this interface. The interface is a bit different, but it's essentially the same thing. I'll show you what I mean in just a second now. So if you go through the route of powerbi.com, this is the interface you are going to land into. It's just going to take you into Power BI service straight up. Meanwhile, Fabric is a combination of about 7 experiences. So now, before now, this is just what we have. And then you can actually use this Power BI logo here to switch to whatever experience or workload that you are interested in working on. So if I click on this now, you can see that we have Power BI, we have data factory, we have data engineering. You see, it is even divided where we have Synapse, then you have data engineering, data science, data warehouse, and real-time analytics. So if I want to work on a Power BI project, I stay on Power BI. If I know my project is data engineering, I just click on data engineering, data science, data warehouse, or real-time analytics. So the other interface, if you go through the route of fabric.microsoft.com, is the interface that you get. So this is the complete fabric interface where you can now pick whatever you want. So for example, now I can pick a data science experience. Data science, then I have this where you have model, you have experiments, you have notebook, you can even import notebook, or you can even use a sample notebook. So now I is asking me to go to a free Microsoft Fabric trial. That's because I'm entering through the fabric.com route. But I have done that already. When it comes to this lecture, we are still going to go through how to get that. So this is the interface. You can switch at any point in time to whatever workload that you are working with. So now that uh we are here, the next item on the slide is actually to enable Microsoft Fabric. You see, when I try to do it using the Fabric interface, it's asking me to enable Microsoft Fabric. So, but I don't want to enable it here. But typically, what you need to do is to go to your settings. So once you go to your settings, you have this pop-up, then you have preferences, you have resource extension, then you have governance and insights. Then you go to your admin portal. So you allow that to load up. Now, the two things that are added in the tenant settings, you see that you have a new icon, a green new icon on tenant settings, and then on domain, which is on preview. So on tenant settings, we are currently on tenant settings. You can go to usage metric, but our interest in this case now is on tenant settings. That is where you have the administrative control. So now on tenant setting, the first thing you are actually going to see is Microsoft Fabric Preview. I already explained what preview means. Means that it's for us to test it and experience the product. So now you have an area where you can do a drop down, then you can turn it on or turn it off. Now I don't want to turn this off because I need it to demo for us in the course of this lecture. So all you have to do is to turn it on, and then boom, you have access to Microsoft Fabric. So either you go through the route of powerbi.com or fabric.microsoft.com, then you can get access to Microsoft Fabric and experience Microsoft Fabric. Now, like I said, it's for collaboration, data engineer, data analyst, and data scientist. Typically, when you want to work on Microsoft Fabric, the first thing with Microsoft Fabric tenant is that every Microsoft Fabric tenant comes with a default storage, which is the one lake that I mentioned earlier. One lake, like OneDrive, will save all your data assets from your notebook to your pipeline to your reports, your data sets, to every asset you can imagine for a data process. That is where it's stored. You can even store a file on your one lake. So once you log in, it is automatically created for you. So this is one lake here, right on the left hand side. So if I click on one lake now, for this my particular tenant, every asset that is here will actually be listed around here. So we have several lakehouse and projects that I have worked on. So every data set, every asset will be listed here, and there is a filter here. If a particular data set you want to work with, or a particular asset, it can be a data mart, data set, KQL database, lakehouse, SQL waypoints, any asset whatsoever, you can find them here, such that there won't be duplication of data sets. Because what we have found from experience is that people tend to have a duplication of the same data set because they are not in a centralized place. But with one lake, they are all in one place. And if you don't know, you can just come to one lake and actually look for the data sets you are working with. Say a data engineer started with a project, so the data set the data engineer is working on, you can also connect to it no matter where you are from the organization, from your own lake. So now I want to walk us through a typical Microsoft Fabric workflow. So like I said, your tenant will come by default with a one lake, which is a storage for all Fabric assets. Now, people that are working with Power BI before know the concept of workspace. Workspace is like a folder system. I'm trying to explain it in the most simplified form. It's like a folder system that is actually partitioned on the basis that you have chosen in your organization. It could be on the basis of projects or on the basis of department. Now, people in finance can have a workspace where they publish their work to. People in HR can also have another workspace. People in marketing, in sales, they can all have their separate workspaces. Now, each of these workspaces belong to the department that we have mentioned. And also, newly, what Microsoft introduced is domain. For example, now, people that are in finance who have several processes, several projects that they are working on. So the concept of domain is it further segregates the processes for that. Okay, financial services, let's say ATM services, let's say internet services, internet banking, and all of those things will be on different domain. So when you want to work on Microsoft Fabric, the first thing to do is to create your workspace. So let me go back uh, to my tenants. Now, note Microsoft Fabric is actually on preview now. I activated my own for almost about 15 days now, so I have 42 days free trial left. But without Fabric, you can still work on Power BI service. So now you want to work on Power BI service or Microsoft Fabric. Your one leg is already there by default. The next thing you have to do is to create a workspace so that you can have a dedicated space where you store your project. So now this is the workspace. If you notice, there are several workspaces here. There are some workspaces here that have like a crystal icon. That crystal icon is to indicate to you that it is a Fabric enabled workspace. Other workspaces here that do not have that means they are just common workspaces that does not have a Fabric functionality. So if I go on this personal project workspace, for example, if I come here now and I try to do any of the Fabric workload, then it is going to tell me that it is not enabled. But in my case, because I had enabled it in my entire organization, then I have it on this workspace. So you should do that. So that's what I showed us earlier. So let me just go back. So we have several workspaces. Now, these are some workspaces that I have created even since when the Fabric was released in less than 2 weeks ago now. I've done quite a number of projects on Fabric, including the data engineering part. Now, PS, I should mention at this point that you should not be too hard on yourself, because you cannot be a data engineer, a data analyst, and a data scientist at the same time. For someone like me, I've had a fair share of all the experience. Because when we all started out, we are all confused. We don't know which one to do. At some point, I was learning to be a data scientist. At some point, I realized that I don't want it. I want to be a data analyst. And at some point, I want to broaden my skill to data engineering. So it's easier for me to navigate among all these various data project experiences. And I was even learning Synapse Analytics before Microsoft was announced. So the following day it was announced, I was able to deploy a project on Microsoft Fabric. So now, to create a workspace, you just have to select new workspace, and then you just type the name of your workspace. Let's call it DAELITES. And that's all you have to do. If there is a domain that you already set up, you can assign the domain, but I don't have anyone set up for now. So then you just click on apply. So when you create your workspace, you see that we have the icon there. Of course, there is nothing inside this workspace. It is completely empty. So if I have any Power BI report I want to publish now, then DAELITES will be part of the workspaces. There will be options that is available for me to publish my project. So now I am on Power BI experience. So you notice the things that you can do when you have Power BI experience or workload is different from when you have a data engineering workload, a data scientist workload, or real-time analytics. So now these are the new things that you can do. You can create a new report, benefit report, scorecard, dashboard, data flow, data mart, and streaming data set. You can even upload. So all of those things are possible. But if I switch to a data engineering workflow now, then I have a different thing entirely. Then I have a lake house, I have a notebook, I have a Spark job, I have a data pipeline, I have imports notebook. Are we together, please?
Yes, please, we are.
Yes.
So each workload will give you a new experience. So if I go to data science 2, I expect that we have different stuff that you can see there. Then data warehousing 2, you can create a data warehouse. There is sample warehouse that you can work with. You can import those sample warehouse, just like sample data sets. If I switch to real-time analytics also, then the experience is totally different. So typically, let's assume a real world scenario where we are working with data project. So for a data project, you need data to be available. Who is going to make that data for you to be available? That is your data engineer. Sometimes in collaboration with the database administrator. But let's start our own process with the data engineer. So the job of data engineer is to make your data available. So once that data is available, then you can access it from your one lake, here. Then the next phase of the project is the data analyst. The data analyst will pick it up from where data engineers stop and work on the already transformed and clean data sets to bring out the insights. And then alongside to the data scientist who could be doing his thing on the side if there is need to, and then that's how the workflow continue. So typically when we already define our project, a data engineer, we work with Synapse Analytics, we work with Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory, as the name suggests, is just to get data, to bring data from whatever source they are coming from. So I will actually quickly demo some data fabric, data factory workload right now. So I will go to DAE Analytics workspace, then I'm switching to data factory. So once I switch data factory, I have this interface available for me. I could create a data flow, I could create a data pipeline. So if I click on a data flow, for example, then it's going to give me a new interface whereby I can actually bring in my data sets. Now, we are working with Power BI, you are aware of Power Query, where you could do your data cleaning and transformation. So Data Flow Gen 2 is powered by Synapse Analytics Gen 2 Data Lake. So you launch this, and then this will bring out for you Power Query Online, which is a very, very powerful tool. Now, I come to realize that even a data scientist, their work is minimal once they have their data sets cleaned. So the codes that they are going to write is going to be very, very minimal since they don't have to write codes to clean their data. I think we're having some network challenge, and that's why it's taking time to load up. So, but while that is ongoing, let me just go to other projects that I've worked on. Now, this is the first project I did with Fabric. It is in this workspace. That's a Fabric project. So that should open up for us now, Fabric project. Then I can go to Home, Workspace, and yeah. So this is the first project I did. By default, when you create a workspace, and then the next thing you want to do is to create a lake house. Now, I had mentioned that one lake is a data storage platform, but on top of it, there is something we call lake house also. Lake house is actually a storage too, which is like a subset of your one lake. So, but then lake house has some functionalities that is not available on one lake. So as we go on, you will begin to see some of the things that are possible on lake house. So like I said, we are assuming a project in a real life scenario. So we are starting from a data engineering workload. So the first thing for us to do is actually to come to switch to data engineering experience or data factory. If you come to data factory, you have data flow gen, so you have a data pipeline. If you come to Synapse engineering, so you have a data, you have lakehouse, you have all of these things. So now the first thing to do is after you have your Power BI tenants, you have your workspace. Then on your workspace also, you can now begin to create assets for your analytics. Of course, the first asset, raw material in this case, is to get data. So where are we going to store your data in? That's your lake house. Now, why one lake is a universal storage in your tenants, you have multiple lake houses for different projects on the same workspace. You could have lake house for your finance project. You could have lake house for your marketing project. So different lake house for different processes. So the first thing to do after you have created your workspace is to create a lake house. So this is a sample lake house that I've created. So this is sales lake house. So let me open it up. You see, we have different icons for different things on this workspace. Now, by default, once you create a lake house, this is a lake house, for example. Now, you have a tabular view where you have name of your assets, you have the type, you have the owner, then the other metadata that is available for your assets. Now, the first thing, like I said, is to create a lake house. So you come here and then you select what you want to create, which is a lake house. So this is a lake house. Then you click on that. Then you have an interface where you can actually give your lake house a name. The name depends on you and what you want to achieve. Now, you just have this, you type in the name and then you create it. So once you create your lake house, by default, all of these assets come together with your lake house. So this is by default, you have data flow staging warehouse, data sets, then data flow staging warehouse, lake house. So how you know the difference is the icons that you have right in front of them and then the type. So the lake house that I created in this case now is sales lake house. You see, we have sales lake house and then the type is actually a lake house. Then the icon is different. Then you have SQL endpoints. So once you create a lake house, it's going to create all these data flows for you. And then you also create SQL endpoint and then the data sets. So now this is an already created lakehouse. So let me click on lakehouse. So once you create your lakehouse, this is the interface you are going to have. So on this lakehouse, then you can open up your Power Query. So like I said, our raw material is data set. So all I have to do is to click on get data. Now this lakehouse is not empty because I had actually bring in some data sets in here. So I actually have the link to data sets that I work with and the tutorial guide that was prepared by Microsoft that I used to actually deploy this project. So you get your data sets. It could be from an upload, it could be from a pipeline, it could be from new data flow gen 2. So in our case now, we are trying to get a dirty data. That is what you have in real world most of the time. So you click on that and that will typically open up for you Power Query Online. So once you open up Power Query Online, you can then work with it like you work with a typical Power Query. There are several data sources that you can get data from your Excel, from your data flow, from SQL Server, and then there are more data sources that you can get your data from. So let us wait. So these are the various sources available for you to get data from your file. Could be your Excel file, CSV, from your JSON file. Then from databases also from your Oracle to your IBM database, to your Postgres database, then from Microsoft Fabric itself, because there are data assets that come from Microsoft Fabric, and then from Power Platform, and also from Azure services. So all of these things, if you are working in Power BI before, you are definitely familiar with them. So once you are done, then you do your data transformation. But for sake of clarity, I want to navigate to a data flow where there is actual data set. I don't want to start bringing it one after the other. So, but there is something different between Power Query Online and Power Query Desktop that we are used to. Sorry, the network is messing up right now. I'm trying to make this as fast as possible. So typically, once you have the data set, yeah, you can do all your data cleaning, and then your data is ready for use. It could be uh, data for any project. Then the difference between Power Query Online and Power Query Desktop that I used to is this add data destination that we have in Power Query Online. After you see it is grayed out now, that's why I don't want to use it, because I wanted to have a real data in Power Query. Yeah. So now we have this, and then let me come back, and then I can now go to an existing data flow. So you have to specify the destination of your data set. You have to specify the destination of your data set by, let me open this particular data flow now. Yes, this is a data flow, for example, that I created before. So I'll open this up now. Then you can now see where Power Query Online is different from Power Query Desktop. So you have to specify the destination of your data flow. Now, this is the one I had worked on. I have staging data, I have data load, and I have data that has been transformed. So this is typically what you have. Now you see that this is no longer grayed out. So I have to specify the destination of each of my data sets. For example, I've actually grouped them into different folders. So on these folders now, I then have to come to my home icon. Then I specify the add destination here. So specify the add data destination. So I had already done that for this data set, so that is why I still do that. But then you can actually edit it from here and click on this J icon here. Then you can then select the destination of your data set. The destination in this case is a lake house. Then you click on next, and then is now going to give you the list of the workspaces that you have. And inside all of the workspaces that you have, there are several lake house. But you had already created a lake house earlier, and you know the name of your lake house. So you come to the workspace you are working with. Now, this is a lake house, but you know that you have a lake house inside a workspace. So these are the workspaces, and you can do a drop down. So now on this fabric project, then I can then select the lake house that I want, and then the name of the table will be here. Then I can click on next, and then that will give me like an interface. So it's telling me that okay, it has already existed. Then let me just call it the dates, and I can click on next. Then it's going to ask me if I want to append or I want to replace. So you have this interface where it's going to do your column mapping from your data source and to your destination. And then you can have your data set also. If you have any column you don't want to bring in, you can just quickly uncheck any of them. But in my case, I don't think I want to uncheck any column. Then I can click on save setting, and then we are good. That is after you have cleaned and transformed your data, and then you now move your data set to your data lake. So when you move your data set to data lake, then your data set is available on your data lake. So I'm closing this interface now. Then we now go to our data lake. So now the data lake we have created, that we have specified, is Sales Lake House. So we come to Sales Lake House, and then we open up our lake house, where we can now see the data set that has already been cleaned and transformed, that is now ready for use. So on your lake house, you have the data sets. They are going to load up. Then you can have your preview of your data sets. You can also upload file, and then right on the top here, you have this refresh icon, you have this setting icon, and you have get data. Say you have more data sets you want to work on, or you want to still transform your data, just like you do in Power BI desktop, that you go back and forth to Power Query, then you can go back also and then edit and transform your data to a form that is actually suitable for your use case. So if you click on that now, it's going to give us all these available options. Then we have new Power BI data sets. So then you have your notebook. So these are the tables that we have based on the data flow that are created. So data flow is a fabric asset that you can use to transform your data. However, in data engineering workload, sometimes it is more than to just clean your data set and then load it into your lake house. Sometimes you need to like orchestrate your data set. Maybe you want to. Now, when we talk about orchestrate, then we move on to another asset called a pipeline. I know this may be some big English now because you may not be familiar with it. Now, what pipeline does is that pipeline is actually a collection of activities. Now, we could have 2 or more data flow in a pipeline. Now, pipeline could be a email notification activity, a data transformation activity, a delete activity. So a pipeline will run all of this activity, all activity. Sorry, someone is talking.
Yes, Francis, please start wrapping up.
Oh
Okay, so
wow.
I've been, yeah, it's past 15 minutes already. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah. Right. All right. I'll just try and rush through it. So it's just feel like I'm just starting.
Wow.
So you can actually just create your lakehouse. Then from your lakehouse, the interesting thing is that you can have your SQL endpoint. This is where SQL is important. I'm sure Emily has a course for us on SQL. You can reach out to her because now if you are working on Fabric, then your SQL has to be solid, solid. So you could write your SQL queries here where you can then use it to like check your data sets, explore your data set even before you start doing your analysis. So once you fix your SQL endpoint interface, then you have your schema, where you have your database, you have your table, you have your views, and all of those SQL objects. So now you can query your data set, you can query it with SQL. So you can do that. You can just select new query. Now, these are some of the queries that I've written before. Uh, it's going to open up SQL query for us. This is just a simple SQL query where you just do a group by to just do aggregation of your total sales. Then you can also have a new visual query, where you can see each of your data sets. You can just drag your data sets into the report Canva. This is a bug because it's a preview product. So you drag it to that place, then you can do your transformation further, even right here. Okay, thank God it's coming up. So I have employee data sets, then I can just bring my facts online data set also. So this is a low code interface where you can actually write your join queries even by drag and drop. So you can do your merge, just like you can do in Power Query. You can just click here, select all of those transformations you can do. You have your merge, you have your append, group by, and all of these beautiful, beautiful transformations that you could do. And then, of course, you can actually view it as an SQL code. If you are not starting with SQL, so this is typically the SQL code. I know it is SQL, it's automatically generated for me, and that is why we call it the data platform of the AI era. So if you are scared of SQL, you can dodge SQL for some time, but you can also cannot dodge it. It's only if you understand it that you can actually work with it. So this script has been generated for me. I can just click on edit script and then take out the columns that I don't want. Then I can have my data set as minimal as possible. So after you have prepared your data set, the data set is available for you to consume either by a data scientist or by a data analyst. And then of course, say for example now, it's the data analyst that is working on it, then you could actually do your data modeling just like you have on Power BI desktop. You can do your model. So you have all your various tables here. You can do your one to many, many to one, and all those relationships that you can do in your data modeling. So this is working from data engineering to data analyst end of it. Then also we are on data engineering experience now. I can actually switch to a data science experience where I can now create a notebook. I can do all of those things. So because of for the sake of time, let me just go to the workspace and show us the pipeline that I mentioned. So for the pipeline, so I open up a pipeline now that I actually used to orchestrate data set that I prepared on my Power Query online. So on this pipeline now, there could be several activities. You could want that, okay, after your data set has been cleaned, you want an activity for a transformation from another data source. So you could have multiple data flow, you could have data flow activity, then all of these activity can be grouped together and then you have it as a pipeline to clean your data, to notify you if the data did not load successfully and all of those things. So you can do all of that in your pipeline. Then that will now orchestrate and integrate your data set available into your lakehouse where it is then usable for a data analyst or a data scientist. So we just wait for that to like come up so that we can have a view and a feel of what a pipeline look like. So I'll go back to our workspace now. The other asset that you can have on your workspace is data engineering and data science uh, assets. So this is a pipeline, this is a workflow. This is then right from your data set, you can actually create a sales report. Now, for example, now I will quickly create a report, auto-generated report without having to do a singular thing. So I had orchestrate and integrate my data set into this lake house. So I can just come to this lake house data set. So I can click on these more options right here, and then I I'll see an auto create report. So if I click on auto create report, then that automatically creates a report for me based on an already transformed data sets that we had actually orchestrate and integrate into our lakehouse. So that is prepping up for us to come up. And of course, AI is not going to take your job. You are the one that will still take your job, because the report that will be ready for you, she still needs some little cleaning. You see, in matter of less than 1 minute, I have a report based on data sets that I had already cleaned and orchestrated into my lake house. So I could save this report if it answers the questions I'm looking for, or I could just manually edit it and do all the things that you do as a data analyst. So that is what we can do with lakehouse. Then now this is the interface for your pipeline, where you can have a copy data activity. Now there are several activities that you can do on your pipeline. You can copy data from several sources, and this is always good when you are working with each data set. So if I click on copy data now, is just going to open up like my Power Query online, where I have several sources, and then you have a chain of sequence of events that you take to choose your data source, connect to data source, destination, then connect to data destination. So these are sources that you could connect to from your pipeline. You could connect to Snowflake, you connect to data warehouse, Synapse Analytics, a lot of
Mr. Francis, sorry for interrupting, but you have just 5 minutes left.
All right. I'll wrap up now. So you can just integrate a pipeline into your work, and then you get your data set into your workflow. So I'm not using this, so I'll just cancel it, and then we come back to our workspace. So on the workspace also, I can switch to a data science experience, or a data experience, where you can create your notebook, you can write your Python code here, you can write your Spark code here. So let me just go to a workspace where I have an already prepared Python notebook. So let me go to this workspace. Now I have this Python notebook here, where I could write my Python code, and then I could do my data science workload. So then your notebook too is connected to your lakehouse. So you can see that from your lakehouse, a data engineer has been able to move data to your lakehouse. A data scientist can then connect to that same lakehouse using a notebook. A data analyst can also connect to it from their SQL endpoints, and then you can also write SQL query on notebook. So just to wrap up, then there are several resources that you could use. You could use a documentation. There is official documentation by Microsoft. So I will click on this now. Then we also have tutorials that you can follow also. So this is the documentation. I'll just drop the link in the chat for the for us to use. So this is the link for the official documentation. And then if you are looking forward to actually doing your first project on Fabric, this is a tutorial for you that you can use. I'm dropping the link on the chat right now. So you can use that to get started on Microsoft Fabric. Now, at this point, I should mention again, you don't have to be an expert in all this field of data analytics. Just pick one, then you become an expert at it. Then you can collaborate with other people. Summary, where do you start? Yes, where do you start? People have come to me and asked that, oh, how do I learn Fabric? You cannot learn Fabric. You can only learn the roles within Fabric. So if you are learning data to become a data analyst, please continue. Learn your Power BI, learn your Excel, know your SQL. Then everybody can then come on Fabric to collaborate. If you are doing data science, go ahead, learn your machine models, know your algorithms. Then we can all come to Fabric and use our notebook to write Python codes to do your machine learning model. If you're a data engineer, please go ahead, continue. Learn your Python, learn your Apache Flow, learn Azure Data Factory, learn all of these things. Then all of us can then come to Microsoft Fabric, collaborate, and then you can actually work together and deliver a very nice data project in a very short time. So, like I said, if you learn all of these things, AI is not going to take your job. That is why you are getting familiar with the data platform of the AI era, which is Microsoft Fabric. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Francis. In short, this is really, really insightful. Thank you so much. So before we take the question and answer, I believe Mrs. Iremide has a contribution. Ms. Iremide, you have a contribution to this before we take the question and answer.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Francis. That was beautiful. I'm really grateful knowing you. That was so beautiful. So I guess now that you now understand why you need the 365 developers account. Because without the 365 developers account, you can't even have access to the Microsoft Fabrics platform for you to start creating and developing your models, either as a data science or building data lakes as the data engineering part, or building the interactivity of your report using Power BI. Right. Francis, thank you very much. And like Francis rightly mentioned, we have a course that is running on the 25th of June. If you are a data analyst and you want to learn SQL, you really want to improve on your SQL skill, you need to join the SQL Academy that is starting 25th of June 2023. I'm going to drop a link to the data analytics community in the chat box. Click on the link, it's a WhatsApp group. Click and join the group, and then you can message me personally if you are interested in the SQL Academy. Thank you very much. Tessie, over to you.
Thank you so much, Francis. Thank you. That was really insightful. Even before now, I saw this and about the Microsoft Fabric, and I was just wondering that when it's not that material, what is Microsoft doing in the fashion, and then having to be among the participants of this session today, I really want to say that I am really excited that I am better informed that Microsoft Fabric is a unified platform that enables end-to-end analytical solutions, right? And I'm also glad that I know that now it doesn't work on desktop, but as software as service. It's a collaborative platform too. So you don't have to be a data engineer, right, to leverage your need. But then as a data analyst and a data scientist, you can actually use this platform. And I know that, it is also integrated in the Power BI platform. So to access this, you just have to link up with the app.powerbi.com and also access it with the Microsoft Fabric on app.fabric.microsoft.com, right? And one thing that stood out for me is to know that with one link, it can help me minimize the recurring data set. So I just really want to thank Mr. Francis for this insightful session, right? Thank you so much. So yeah, we'll be taking the question and answer. You know how we do it. If you have a question, you can raise up your hand or you drop it on the chat box. So you raise up your hand and drop it on chat box. So we'll do it in an orderly manner. So please just signify if you have any question on the chat box or by raising your hands, and then I will unmute you. I'll call you to unmute your mic. Thank you. Oh, please, Iremide, please proceed.
Francis, someone made a suggestion if they can have, another time with you explaining Microsoft Fabrics. What do you have to say, Francis?
All right. I think I'm letting out a cat. I'm letting out a cat right now. You can stay connected with me. Actually, I'm setting up a YouTube channel where I will be taking Microsoft Fabric and Power BI. So by next week, if you want to actually know about Fabric more, so stay tuned. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll definitely post there. You can connect with me on Twitter also. Then you can have access to some of these materials. I actually deployed a end-to-end project for Fabric already. I have about two already. So I'm looking at having a YouTube channel where I will walk us through uh, Microsoft Fabric and some of these things. It's just timely for me because I've been looking at Microsoft Power BI service that has been ignored before Fabric came. So now that we now have more things on Microsoft Power BI service, which is Fabric, then it's a thing I'm really excited about, and it's just nice that I'll be taking up that challenge, and then we can actually learn more from that. And because I've actually gotten feedback that people actually prefer when they have an indigenous tutor, because you have Indian tutors, you have some tutors outside Nigeria, but then people feel at home when it is their own person. So, and I think it's something I'm just looking out to. So before the end of the next of this week, coming week, expect my first YouTube video. Should have been out today, but then what's doing is what's doing well. So don't worry, I got you.
Oh, Francis, that is awesome. Congratulations. Please, can you drop the YouTube channel for us? The name of the YouTube channel so that we can be, expecting it. Then we can subscribe. Francis, did you hear me?
I didn't get that.
Francis, are you? Yeah, we didn't get
Okay.
you. I don't know if you got Iwemide. Iwemide, please proceed.
Francis, I said that can you drop the name of the YouTube channel, so that we can
Oh,
be expecting it.
okay.
No, just to keep this conversation going. All right, FF Analytics. Please go on YouTube and search FF Analytics and make sure you subscribe. You're not ready. Like, Francis is about to blow your mind. Thank you very much, Francis. Tessie, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Irimide. Thank you so much, Francis. Like I said earlier on, this was such an insightful session for me, and I'm really glad that I am part of it. So if you have questions, you know how we do it. Just raise up your hand, signify by raising your hand, or you drop your question on the chat box so we can redirect it to Francis to answer those questions. If you're not clear at any point, or you just want to like really understand better, briefly just raise your hand or drop your question on the chat box. Thank you. Okay, it seems like we all had clarity all through the session while Francis was putting us through Microsoft Fabric, right? Because I'm not seeing any hands or no question. So Salami Ayodeji, I would just ask, was that session really insightful for you? Was it clear? Was it beneficial to you? Salami Ayodeji, if you're here, please just let me know. I just want to hear from you before we actually wrap up the event as a whole. Salami Joanne, yeah, I can see you, Joanne. Was it really insightful for you? Was it clear? Do you need any clarity at any point, Joanne? Joanne, I can see that Joanne is trying to reconnect.
Yeah, Tessie, it's one of a kind for me. I really appreciate Francis for the detailed explanation when it comes to Microsoft Fabrics. I had the opportunity of listening to going online as well to study to know what it's all
Right.
about. But listening to
Yeah.
Francis, with the explicit definition, what it does,
Yeah.
how to create those beautiful dashboards. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful. Like I said, I'm really grateful for knowing you. And let's join the FF Analytics. Let's learn more. Let's keep building and let's making ways. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Salami. Thank you so much. So I would just want to call on the organizer of this event in person of Iremide Olatunji to give us a final remark, right? This has been a very insightful session. I'm really glad I was part of this. I'm glad that I could get more knowledge on Microsoft Fabric and M365 developers account creation. So Iremide, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Immediately before you go ahead, I quickly have this to say. Now that we don't have any question, I take it is that I've done a bad job or all of us are on the same page. So I will ask a question to test if I've done a bad job or we are on the same page. Is it Microsoft Fabric or Microsoft Fabrics?
Fabric. Francis,
Fabric.
you want to
Fabric.
insult me?
Microsoft
Fabric,
Fabric.
fabric,
No, Francis,
Fabric.
now
we
today
have
me
the
and
S.
you go fight. Francis, you want to insult me directly. Don't be passing corners.
So
Oh my
I wanted to
some
goodness.
of you
attack
that say
you,
Fabric,
but I decided to
you
be
are going
patient.
to get
The fabric,
you get
Francis, fabric.
your apprenticeship starting very soon. Fashion designers, we know you people.
Francis, so because I made mistake by saying fabrics, you decided to bring it all the way. Francis, I feel attacked.
I had prepared my slide before listening to you, so it was not about you really.
Oh, so that was fine. So it's actually Microsoft Fabric, but it's not bad to be a fashion designer anyway. You know, you can be learning Microsoft Fabric and still be in the fabrics industry. All right. Thank you so much, Francis. Thank you so much, everyone. I think I actually had a wonderful time. And I'd like to say a very big thank you to the moderator, Tessie. God bless you. You did a very wonderful job. You were well coordinated. The way you were able to bring everyone together is just so amazing. Thank you so much. And I pray that God bless you and may the
Amen.
Lord increase you. To everyone on this call, I'd like to say a very big thank you. Thank you for joining in and thank you for staying to the end of this event. Like, I am really grateful to have a number of you still around for the event. And I hope that I'll see a number of you register for the SQL Academy. As a data analyst, it's very important for you to know how to query your database, how to use SQL. It's very, very important. So I dropped a link in the chat box about the Data Analytics Airlines community. Click on the link, join the community. I drop a post there every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I give you information about what is happening in the tech industry and the tools you need to learn. And also, if you're just getting started in data analytics and you don't know where to start, the starting point is Excel. You need to know how to build the dashboard, you know how to analyze data with Excel. That is the starting point. And the beautiful part is I have our best facilitator on the call, the person of Salami Ayodeji. If you have not listened to Salami Ayodeji's teaching on Excel, I don't know where you've been learning your Excel from. Like, he's one of the best in the data analytics industry. And I love the way he's very patient with the students, taking them through Excel one step at a time. So the Excel Academy is also starting by 2nd of July. If you are just getting started in tech and then you want to, get your footing in tech, the first thing you need to know how to do, or the first tool you need to learn, is Excel. Join the Data Analytics Airlines community and let me know if you would like to join the SQL Academy for intermediate data analysts and the Excel Academy for beginners in data analytics. Please note, if you are a beginner in data analytics, please don't start with SQL or don't start with Microsoft Fabric. Start with a big, understand the foundation of data analytics. So I'll repeat myself again. The SQL Academy is starting 25th of June. You can join the Data Analytics Elite community and chat me up and tell me if you would like to join the SQL Academy or the Excel Academy, which is starting 2nd of July. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this program. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Bye. So everyone, I would really like if we can put on our camera, we can turn on our cameras to just really appreciate Iremi Day for organizing this event. So let's just see. And of course, use the applaud sign. Thank you, Samuel. I can see Samuel Wahid. Francis, we didn't even get to
Thank
see you.
you.
Sao, Obagidi, Victor, Joanne. Would like to see you. Please turn on your camera so you just say thank you to Iremide. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so, so much. Okay. All right, thank you. So, wrapping up this, I would really want to appreciate every one of us that took out our time to be here. Thank you for
Thank you very
taking
much.
out
I
that time.
appreciate.
Today's Saturday, you could have been engaged with other stuff, but yeah, you decided to come add to your skill set. So I just want to say thank you very much for being a part of this. And I would urge us to,
Yes.
forge ahead from here. Join the Data Analytics Elite Forum WhatsApp community group. And of course, from there, you get more knowledge, more insight on how to proceed from there. Yeah. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye. Bye, everyone.
John, you can see for item 7.
Bye bye.
Oh,
Ah,
again.
ah, there we go. Look at